Good evening, and welcome to this special meeting of the National Conservative Union's Eagle Club. I'm your host, Neil Newman, and our guest is Gene Davenport, NCU's Executive Director. Gene will answer your questions about NCU PAC's Take Back the Senate campaign. Let me remind you that this is a closed-circuit webcast open only to NCU's most loyal supporters, and some of the information we'll be sharing with you is sensitive. So we ask that you keep some of what we discuss in confidence. Let me also tell you that our webcast is made possible by the generosity of our sponsors, and so we hope you'll support them. If you'd like to send an email to these sponsors thanking them for their public service, just click on Thank Sponsors on the right side of the screen and hit Browse. Well, let's get started, Gene. First, we have a question from George Dawkins in Topeka, Kansas. George wants to know which states NCU PAC has targeted for 2008.
It's a good question, George. Well, first off, I think Pat Roberts is fairly safe in your state. But next door to you, we're looking to hold an open seat in Colorado, where Wayne Allard is stepping down. I'm sure Wayne could easily win re-election, but he's a man of principle and he's keeping his promise to serve only 2 terms. It looks like the Democrats will nominate Mark Udall, a far-left member of Congress. On our side, it could be former Congressman Bob Schaefer, former Governor Bill Owens, or Attorney General John Suthers. Any way you look at it, I think we have a solid conservative candidate. To the north of you, we have a good shot to replace Tim Johnson, who barely beat John Thune in 2002. In Louisiana, we have an excellent chance to replace the liberal Mary Landrieu. We also could defeat Frank Lautenberg in New Jersey if he chooses to run. The Democrats will work hard to take out Susan Collins in Maine, Norm Coleman in Minnesota, Gordon Smith in Oregon, and John Sununu in New Hampshire.
Next up, we have a webcam question from Marilyn Thomas in Garland, Texas. Go ahead, Marilyn.
Gene, how much money does NCU need to accomplish your plan?
Gene, I think you have a graph you'd like to show to answer that.
I do, Neil. Marilyn, if you look at the screen on your right, you'll see a chart showing how much money we think we need to raise in the next year to pick up 3 Senate seats in the 2008 elections. Now, please notice how vitally important it is to get the money early. We certainly spend a lot in the final 3 months, but if we don't have enough early on, we can't cover the expense of polling various districts to see where the media buys need to be.
Here's a chat question from Tom Murphy in Clarksburg, West Virginia. Tom wants to know what you're going to do to get rid of Jay Rockefeller in his state.
Well, actually, Tom, we're launching an ad campaign next week against Senator Durbin in southwestern West Virginia, with an ad similar to the one John Ensign ran in his successful campaign in Nevada against Jack Carter. The campaign is costing us $2 million for 5 days. If we can raise another $2 million in the next week, we can extend the campaign 1 more week, which our research department estimates could mean as much as a 2% difference in the polls. Essentially, $100 buys us one more minute of airtime. If you can help us with a donation, I ask you to click on Give and hit Browse on the right side of your screen.